Welcome to Season 2 of Tales of the Divine and Damned, where we pull back the veil on history's greatest mysteries. This season, we're diving headfirst into the enigma of aliens. Tonight, we're diving into the phenomenon that has terrified and fascinated people for decades: alien abductions.
We're not talking about blurry lights in the sky or wild conspiracy theories. These are real cases, stories from people who claim to have been taken, examined, in some cases, never seen the world the same way again.
Some of these cases are legendary, like the Betty and Barney Hill abduction, while others are lesser known, but just as chilling.
So buckle up and keep an eye on the sky, because if these stories are true,
we might not be alone.
Now, this next case inspired the Hollywood movie Fire in the Sky.
Travis Walton was a logger working in Arizona when he and his crew saw a UFO in the woods. When Walton stepped out of the truck to investigate, a beam of light hit him and he vanished.
For 5 days, he was missing. When he finally returned, he told a horrifying story of being taken aboard a craft, experimented on, and eventually dropped back to Earth.
Mysteriously, his co-workers passed every polygraph test that was thrown at them. The details never changed. Was this a real abduction or something else entirely?
Let's take it back to the day that this happened. You're 22, you're logging, you're in the woods. Tell me what happened.
Well, it's just, when you're done working hard physical labor, everybody's kind of jacked up, and there was a whole lot of chatter in the car. We're just talking away, it's starting to get dark. We just loaded up our equipment. We're headed out. And I looked up ahead, and I saw this kind of glow coming through the trees. First, I thought, no big deal. It was deer hunting season. Thought maybe there was some hunters camped up on the hill up there. Maybe light shining through a tent. It was still something really strange, kind of caught my eye. And one by one, the other guys in the crew started looking, but nobody said, "Oh my God, what's that?" or anything like that. It was just kind of an idle curiosity at first. But when we burst into the clearing where we could see the source of this glow, it was just, whoa, it was just mind-blowing instantly. I inexplicably got out of the truck and ran toward this thing, but I thought it was just going to take off, be gone in a flash. And
so, when you say in the clearing, so are you driving on a dirt road?
Yeah, it's a dirt road. Trees are real thick. This was a part of the contract we hadn't cut in yet, so trees were a lot thicker there, except for this clearing, and. We weren't the only ones that saw it, we found out later. Sheriff had on file people who were in the area that saw it, hunters and fishermen over there at Black Canyon Lake. And the movement that they described was what the crew described when it left. Of course, I didn't see that, but
what did they describe?
They described this glow rising up and streaking off, I believe they said, toward the northeast. There were some people that probably don't want to be public about it, but there was one guy who was just deer hunting, and he worked in military intelligence, and he stuck by what he and his wife saw. They were both together. And another guy that was at Black Canyon Lake, I won't mention any of those guys' names unless they chose to, but found out later that there was more official investigation that nobody talked about at the time. Immediately, though, this was all nonsense, and these guys murdered him, and even my oldest brother, he didn't believe me. He thought they had killed me. What we were doing with the brush that we cut was piling it up. There were piles that were in the clearing so that the Forest Service could burn these piles, when the conditions were right, where it wouldn't spread, wet conditions otherwise, but burning up this excess material to reduce the fire danger in the woods. And my oldest brother was tearing those piles apart. He was certain that my body was under there. And there were some pretty testy confrontations between him and my brother. And I think even my other brother, Dwayne, he initially took that approach, but he quickly became sure that they were telling the truth.
Now, what do you remember when you were going through your mind and you're trying? I mean, this is a story you've told so many times, and this is a story that's been turned into a film, which it's got to be very surreal. But when you look into your memories and you try to go back to that day.
Well, I don't try. It's something I try to block out, but it's unforgettable. And there's...
What do you remember seeing when you ran into the clearing?
Well, the whole clearing was lit up with this weird glow. It's really hard for any artist or movie to try to duplicate the strange glow there was there. Made everything look really, really pretty eerie, and
did it have a color to it?
It was kind of a golden color, but with a kind of a softness to it it wasn't like beams of light shooting out. It was just this haze of light.
And did it seem to come from a specific part of the craft, or? Most
of the surface seemed to be glowing. There were darker areas that didn't give off light, but it was the parts that weren't glowing. It wasn't so bright that you couldn't look at it, but it had a metallic look to it.
So what did the craft itself look like?
It was a classic disc-shaped craft. Years later, there was a report. I can never remember names, but this guy was saying that he worked at Area 51, and they had something in there. He worked with the Tester Model Corporation to create a model of what he was describing. And that's actually the closest of any of the other descriptions I've seen.
This is Britain's Roswell. In December of 1980, U.S. military personnel stationed at RAF Woodbridge in England witnessed strange lights in the nearby Rendlesham Forest.
Some even reported touching a metallic craft covered in strange symbols. Others experienced bizarre radiation readings in the area.
Despite official dismissals, audio recordings from that night tell a different story, one filled with confusion, fear, and something not human.
Whatever happened in Rendlesham, it left a mark that's never faded.
Tell me when you're ready. Okay, lights on. This is the center spot we're looking at now. We're almost center. Slight increase there. This is slightly off center toward the 1-2 side. It's some type of abrasion or something in the ground where the pine needles are all pushed back when we get a high reading, about deflection of 2 to 3, maybe 4, depending on the point of it. Yes. So there's a positive after effect? Yes, there is definitely. That's on the center spot. There is an after effect. What does that mean? It means when the lights are turned off, once we are focused in and allow time for the eyes to adjust, we are getting an indication of a heat source coming out of that center spot. which will show up on heat or some form of energy. It's hardly heat at this stage of the game. Looking directly overhead, one can see an opening in the trees plus some freshly broken pine branches on the ground underneath. Looks like someone came off about 15 to 20 feet up. Some small branches about an inch or less in diameter. Within 148, we're getting very strange sounds out of the farmer's barnyard animals. It's very, very active, making an awful lot of noise. It has a pigmentation. You just saw a light where? Right in this position here, straight ahead, in between the tree. There it is again. Watch, straight ahead off my flash right there. There it is. Hey, I see it too. What is it? We don't know, sir. So you have to try to get somewhere. Yeah, it's a strange, small red light. You'll see out maybe a quarter to half mile, maybe further out. When I switch off. The light is gone now. It was approximately 120 degrees from the site. Is it back again? Yes, sir. Oh, that's the flashlight set. Let's move out to the edge of the clearing so I can get a better look at it. See if you can get the star scope on it. The light's still there, and all the barnyard animals have gotten quiet now. Yeah, we're heading about 110 to 120 degrees from the site out through to the clearing now. Still getting a reading on the meter. About 2 clicks. Maybe count 3 to 4 clicks, getting stronger. Now it's coming up. Hold up, there we go. About approximately 4 foot off the ground. Comes to set to 110 degrees. Alright, just turn the meter off. You gotta say that again. About 4 feet off the ground, about 110 degrees, getting a reading of about 4 clicks. Yes, sir. Yeah, but excuse me. No, it's dying. No, it's dying. I think it's something other than the ground. I think it's something variable here. Tree right over. We just found the first nightbird we've seen. We're about 150 or 200 yards from the site. Everything else is just deathly calm. There's no doubt about it. There's some type of strange flashing red light ahead. It's yellow. I saw a yellow tinge in it too. Weird. It appears to be maybe moving a little bit this way. Yes, it's brighter than it has been. Yellow. It's coming this way. It is definitely coming this way. Pieces of it are shooting off. There is no doubt about it. This is weird. To the left. Yeah, definitely moving left. Two lights. One light to the front, okay. One light to the left. Keep the flashlights off. There's something very, very strange. Get the headset on. See if it gets any stronger. Okay. Give us your way out. Notation that this is on a beta reading, too. It's on a beta reading? Okay. It still has been removed. Okay.
From 1982 to 1986, thousands of people in New York's Hudson Valley reported seeing a massive silent V-shaped craft hovering in the sky.
Some thought it was a secret military project. Others believe it was something extraterrestrial.
To this day, no solid explanation exists to the Hudson Valley Wave.
Just more questions.
New video tonight, you'll only see it right here on ABC 15. An investigation going on as we speak to find out what this is. Flashing lights recorded right here in the valley sky. Could the sighting turn more of you into UFO believers? Well, tonight, ABC 15's Christopher Sine shares where this footage came from and the questions being asked on a national level.
There's about 4 minutes of this, a V-shaped object in the sky above North Phoenix near Cave Creek. The person who recorded it, along with several witnesses with him, turned the video over to MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. MUFON, with a chapter in Phoenix, is an international UFO investigative agency. Its Arizona leaders tell me many of the reports they receive are typically determined to be a hoax or simply explained. But this one, now known in the agency as case number 36097, is getting a very close look. Those with MUFON say, sure, it could be a kite with LEDs or a radio-controlled plane, but they say the lights don't match what they've typically seen. According to MUFON, there has been an increase in UFO reports in Arizona, especially in the Cave Creek area. The person who shot the video provided a detailed statement saying there was little sound associated with the object. So is it a prank? Some type of toy like a kite? Or is it really an unidentified flying object? MUFON plans to find out. Christopher Sine, ABC 15 News.
It could take several weeks for MUFON to make a ruling on the lights, and we will keep you posted. This new sighting comes as the Phoenix lights mystify our community once again. The 15th anniversary coming up next week. And on Sunday afternoon, there's a new documentary hitting the big screen at Scottsdale's Harkin Shea Cinema. It's said to be full of new evidence and eyewitness accounts. You can get a sneak peek right now by going to our website, abc15.com. Just click on 15 links.
Our next story takes us to the desolate expanses of the Nevada desert, where former airman Charles Hall claims to have had repeated interactions with extraterrestrial beings he refers to as the Tall Whites.
Stationed at Nellis Air Force Base in the 1960s, Hall alleges that he encountered these humanoid entities during his time as a weather observer. Described as tall, with pale skin and white hair, the Tall Whites reportedly communicated with Hall over several years.
According to Hall, these beings had established a base within the Nevada test and training range and engaged in technological exchanges with the U.S. military. His detailed accounts have been both lauded by the UFO enthusiasts and scrutinized by skeptics.
Whether you view his story as a groundbreaking revelation or a work of fiction, it undeniably adds a provocative layer to the disclosure on extraterrestrial contact.
Do you ever wonder what might lie out there deep in space? Do you want to believe we're not alone, that somewhere in the universe, intelligent life may actually exist?
Our next guest says there is life out there. It does exist. Dr. Charles Hall says he spent 2 years working with extraterrestrial beings during his time with the American military. He claims the US military has actually been in contact with alien species for years. And Dr. Charles Hall is here to explain, along with his wife Marie, live from what Bugs Bunny used to call Albuquerque, New Mexico. Now, thank you both for your time. Terrific to have you with us. Firstly, Charles, can you tell us your story of how you managed to come into contact with these beings as you worked with the military?
I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I enlisted in the Air Force in July 1964, and I was trained as a weather observer. And I was sent to Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada, outside Las Vegas, Nevada. And for 2.5 years, I was sent up to the gunnery ranges up at Indian Springs, and I was given a clearance to allow me to go anywhere in Dreamland as long as I was alone. I discovered that up there at the north end of Indian Springs Valley, which you can see on the map in the state of Nevada here in America, that there was a base which the U.S. Air Force maintained for a group of extraterrestrials who were tall and white. And I, as the duty weather observer, was allowed to go up there, or they were allowed to come down to where I was. And the interaction took place over more than 2 years.
Wow.
During those 2 years, I also came across, I also interacted to a lesser extent with the Roswell Greys, and I've also personally talked with the extraterrestrials that I call the Norwegians with 24 teeth, who come here from a very nearby star, perhaps Bernard star. And my experiences, my presentations, my books are unique because I'm the only person that I know of that was allowed to interact with the extraterrestrials, the tall whites, for more than 2 years.
So 3 different species of aliens you're talking about there, Charles?
Yeah, can you describe what they look like,
that is
what they
correct.
were like?
Well, I'll start with the tall whites. They're thinner than we are, and they're very frail. Throughout most of their life, they are the same height as I am, 5'11", and they live 10 times longer than humans. They live 600 or 800 years.
Wow.
But they don't age the way we do. When they get to be equivalent to a human of about 40 years, that means when they're about 400 years, they start growing again instead of aging as humans.
Right.
And then they go, and this continues, and so that by the time they get to be 600 or 800 years old, They're very tall, 8.5, 9, or 10 feet tall, but this is not necessarily good because their skeleton grows more than their internal organs. And so there comes a time after 600 or 800 years when their skeleton, their body is tall, but their organs can't support it, at which time they die a natural death, because they're just flesh and blood creatures like we are. If they injure themselves, it takes them 10 times longer to heal up than a human.
Yeah.
So there's a trade-off.
Yeah, right. They still look fresh as a daisy when they go, though. They look like Tilda Swinton.
In April of 2023, a Las Vegas family reported a startling event that quickly garnered national attention. Late one evening, they claimed to have witnessed a glowing object streaking across the sky before crashing in their backyard.
On investigating, the family reported encountering two beings, described as large creatures with a greenish hue. Frightened, they contacted local authorities, leading to a police investigation.
Adding to the intrigue, a crime scene analyst who reviewed the family's video footage suggested the presence of at least two entities employing some form of cloaking technology. This analysis has fueled ongoing debates about the authenticity of the encounter.
While some dismiss the incident as a misinterpretation or hoax, others believe it could be a genuine instance of extraterrestrial contact, leaving the truth shrouded in mystery.
It was the streak seen across the sky, now seen around the world. This, as our 8 News Now investigators confirm, Metro actually set up cameras at this home where a family called 911 claiming to see aliens in their backyard. And tonight, a fierce debate is underway about the legitimacy of an alleged UFO crash. Good evening, I'm Janice Valdez.
And I'm Brian Loftus. Our 8 News Now investigators reporting about terrified members of a local family who told police they had aliens in their backyard. Chief Investigator George Knapp here to piece it all together.
You know, as with all things UFO, the public debate is ferocious and ongoing. Was it all a hoax? Were we duped? Was it all an evil plot, a cover-up, all of the above? We took another look at the hubbub to separate wheat from chaff. The fireball captured on a police body cam on the night of April 30th was real. The American Meteor Society says witnesses reported seeing it all across the West, from northeastern Utah to Southern California. Another Las Vegas resident sent us a video of the same object recorded on her home camera.
Investigation by Nexstar station KLAS.
As the story of the Las Vegas incident spread across newscasts and social media, one of NASA's planetary defense officers weighed in to say it was likely a small meteor that fell to Earth hundreds of miles away from Las Vegas. Police videos obtained by 8 News Now indicate Metro officers were among the witnesses.
One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious.
The appearance of the meteor seemingly triggered the events that followed. A frightened family called 911 and told police they had 10-foot-tall alien beings in their backyard. Officers responded to the home minutes later, interviewed the witnesses, canvassed the area, and cautiously inspected the backyard to look for intruders. One thing noticed by the officers was a circle in the soil. In conversations with us and in a podcast interview, Angel, the main witness, suggested the circle might have been created when an unknown object landed in the yard. Social media sleuths have since pointed out that the circular image has been viewable via Google Earth for more than a year. The family told us by phone they had seen suspicious vehicles with men in black types checking out their home. Turns out there is substance to that. A retired police officer fessed up on News Nation that he spent days staking out the house to see what, if anything, unfolded. What about those reports that Metro installed a special surveillance camera atop the house, presumably to watch for intruders, human or otherwise, or overzealous media? Turns out that's true as well. Metro confirmed as much in a statement to 8 News Now's David Charnes. The system stayed on the roof for days. What about the Ring camera video with the weird noise? The main witness, Angel, intimated to us the video was recorded by one of his neighbors, and the audio was from the April 30th UFO crash. It wasn't. The security camera video was recorded in mid-April, according to the man who first posted the clip. He doesn't want his name used, but says the recording was from a fireball that passed over his home in the southwestern part of the valley 2 weeks prior to the alleged alien encounter. The family declined to be interviewed by us, but members have spoken elsewhere and stick to their claims of seeing aliens in the backyard. Dozens of people on social media have analyzed and dissected the images with various claims of aliens spotted in the shadows. Police do not believe this was a hoax call, which could be a crime if done intentionally. In the fervid swamp known as UFO world, our coverage of the story was itself seen as a dastardly plot to distract attention away from a prominent whistleblower named David Grush, who stepped forward around the same time. Grush unveiled his explosive on-camera account on News Nation, which is owned by the parent company of KLAS. In spite of the local news story, Grush's story was reported by news media all over the world. Curses foiled again.
All right. So, I mean, what do you make of this whistleblower, David Grush?
He first reached out to me about a year ago. We've been in contact ever since. He's the real deal. I mean, he had a distinguished career in the Air Force. Then he went to work for a three-letter agency you probably haven't heard of, the NGA, which basically tracks everything in space, in the air, in the ocean, under the ocean, on land. They keep track of everything. He has the highest security clearances in our government, and in that capacity, he interacted with something like 2,000 SAP, special access programs, and he learned along the way that we're reverse engineering crash flying saucers, and he's been telling that to Congress under oath behind closed doors, and I think they'll probably bring him back. So it's a pretty intriguing story. A lot like what we've been hearing about out in the Nevada desert for a long time.
Right. Of all the stories you've done over decades and decades, this one has really gone worldwide.
The backyard alien?
Yes.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy how much email we get, you know. We're not done with it. We'll see where it goes.
Say, this is not the last of that
yeah,
story.
No.
All right, George, thanks for that. Now.
On New Year's Day, 2024, an incident at Miami's Bayside Marketplace sparked a flurry of online speculation. Videos surfaced showing a commotion involving a large group of teenagers, leading to wild theories about an alien presence.
Social media buzzed with claims of a 10-foot tall alien spotted at the mall, with some users sharing doctored images and sensational stories. The situation escalated to the point where local authorities had addressed the rumors.
The Miami Police Department clarified that the disturbance was merely a physical altercation among youths, resulting in several arrests. They empathetically stated that there were no aliens, UFOs, or ETs involved.
This case serves as a reminder of how quickly misinformation can spread, especially when fueled by the public fascination with the unknown.
Okay, and now to our #1 trending story on CBSMiami.com.
It involves talk of alien sightings at Bayside Marketplace. On New Year's Day, there was a massive police response in downtown Miami. More than 50 young people armed with sticks began fighting. Police say juveniles were also setting off fireworks, causing chaos.
So now people are posting online saying that police weren't there to handle a group of rowdy teens, but rather 8 to 10 feet tall shadowy aliens. Conspiracy theories are saying a big creature could be seen standing in front of the entrance to the shopping area, Bayside. Today, the phrases Miami Mall and aliens of Miami have been among the top 10 searches on Twitter's trending tab. Twitter, of course, now called X. And Google News even has several reports questioning the event.
So we reached out to the Miami Police Department. They issued a statement saying in part, quote, there were no aliens, UFOs, or ETs. No airports were closed, no power outages. Facepalm emoji was included in the statement. And to read up on the story that has gone viral, just head to our website. It is cbsmiami.com.
Read all you want, but remember, no aliens.
These accounts, whether grounded in reality or born from imagination, continue to captivate and challenge our understanding of the universe.
As we explore these stories, we're reminded of humanity's enduring quest to uncover the mysteries that lie beyond our world.
If you've enjoyed this journey into the unexplained, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest explorations.
And as always, keep questioning, keep exploring,
and keep watching the skies.